Hi friends, we're in the KT office. I am Andrey Putin and I am Anton Belov. Today we will tell you about a holy war between Pimcore and Akeneo. We will try to compare between the two, figure out the differences, similarities, and how to compare them. Alright, let's start with the most important thing then, the price of solutions. Pimcore then. First thing, Pimcore is free. However, one thing should be told up front. Pimcore will charge you €7,000 for the year if you want SLAs, if you need consulting and etc. 7,200 a year. But they're not charging you for the programming code. The code you will have. Akeneo Enterprise is more about consulting, as opposed to Akeneo. Yes, in the case of Akeneo, the price depends on the size of your business, but it can vary from 30,000 to 50,000 a year. Write down a 40,000. I will put the range, no problems. Akeneo has both free and premium options. Free and paid editions are similar, apart from extra modules. Meaning that the Enterprise has more modules than Community, that's it. Architecturally and performance-wise, it's the same system. It's important to understand. So if you need a large-scale rollout and you don't care for the Enterprise functionality much, take Community. Next parameter that we compare them against is MDM capabilities. One need to say that Pimcore is a master data management system, meaning a system in which you can manage any data whatsoever. It's data agnostic, user data, marketing data, any entity and any class that you want or wanted to create, you can manage it in Pimcore. The main idea of Pimcore, its philosophy: any data works. Whereas Akeneo is not an MDM system per se, it's more of a classical PIM, and it can only handle specific data. It is built to a template which needs to be taken into account. Well, now about the workflow. Well, let me add a couple of words in here. This is a classical PIM. It can work for simple tasks out of the box. If you need to handle simple products like shoes and clothes, etc., Akeneo provides any opportunities that a PIM system has. In case of a more complex product offering like modular furniture, composite goods, there might be challenges, because standard embedded logic will not be able to cover all the needed cases. It's not only applicable to products, because many clients say they need specifically PIM, but apart from the product information, they want to operate metadata as well, which is not stored anywhere else. For instance, the number of views for the products, how popular they are, the comment section. Basically, it's not product data per se, even the price. The price from PIM perspective, if it's a recommended retail price, then it is an attribute, because it's a product data. But if you show a price in a specific channel, like one for Wildberries, the other for Ozone, the third for your own platform, at discounted prices, the fourth option, wholesale, the fifth, this is not a product data, it's a channel data, where the product is sold. Same for the product's stocks. PIM Akeneo is specifically about the product properties. Pimcore, though, can integrate various data sets. It even has reports, special functions, but we will tell about that later. Let's do the next comparison, then. Workflow. What is it in the first place? Workflow is a sequence of actions which the product goes through. For instance, you may need to validate the product somehow. Example, I entered attributes, but we have agreed that after I fill them in, Anton will check them. This is what workflow is. Or let's consider a more complex case, like when we need to make sure that I can enter these attributes only when other attributes are entered, if the data from ERP arrived no more than 30 days ago. This is another instance of a workflow. This is how it works. You fill something in, I approve, we publish, and the product has to correspond to certain checklists. Moreover, the validation workflow allows you to send the product downstream the process. Anton may say that this attribute is right, but this one needs to be rechecked. Here's your comment. I receive this as a product status, I see Anton's message, I make corrections, and I file it back in. After Anton validates everything, the product may be automatically published in a channel. Okay, so how about doing workflows in Pimcore then? Pimcore has a very flexible workflow. There are also workflow limitation rules when it can be launched, and field verification rules as well as other entity or event verification. It also has various actions, computations, including via API. Any actions will do. Basically, in a Pimcore paradigm, you can write your own class with your own actions and set up a workflow. Since your workflows will never be set by operators, it's absolutely okay. Alright, in Akeneo's case, everything is a bit simpler. There is a workflow function, but only in the enterprise version. So in the free version, you don't have the workflows, and in the paid one, you do. But they're very simple. You have something like we said. You fill stuff in, I check, it goes through automatic checks, and we publish it. Something like this. Yes, more or less. Let's move on and tell about DAM, because a PIM system cannot exist without a DAM, although Akeneo Community lacks DAM, and I think it's okay. Yes. The paid Akeneo contains a DAM, but a truncated one. What do we mean by a truncated DAM? Well, a digital asset manager offers a set of features to help manage files, pictures, and file data that has to do with the product. This data might have its own workflow, its own properties and checks. For instance, a certificate may have its own data field when it comes to the end of validity period or when it was issued. Or if you have a picture, it may have a status that it was airbrushed, etc. From here, you can design different workflows, you can put meat on the bones, and everything stays in DAM. Basically, Akeneo does not have a digital asset manager, but it provides for an opportunity to attach a file to a product. It can either be a picture or any other attribute, but just a file. However, both Akeneo Enterprise and Pimcore may already utilize all capabilities of a digital asset manager. Pimcore even offers picture editing options. Well, simple features like highlighting, resizing, or anything like that. Such features are absolutely enough for basic operations. All right, shall we move on? The hierarchy then. The hierarchy of attributes, you mean? Yes, the hierarchy of attributes. This is the most complex story there is. At least it's hard to explain. Let me draw it instead. Let's start with Akeneo, because Akeneo is simple. Well, yes, Akeneo has such a term as a family of attributes, and products, categories which end up in the family inherit all the attributes of the family. Meaning the model is flat. There is a family, there is an item, and there are its properties. There can be another item and other properties, a flat model. Some attributes may be singled out as groups, but it doesn't help much. It only makes the operator's work more simple on a representation level. Pimcore, though, has a completely different approach. Pimcore uses the inheritance approach, meaning there can be a basic class that can be expanded, then expanded again and again, and even reassigned in the end. That kind of stuff. For instance, we might have a product class, or goods, and it has its basic properties like name. Then we can expand it by means of electronics as a class and add an attribute like wattage or something else. Then we may want to expand the class to, say, displays. For displays, we can cancel one of the attributes in the electronics and add two more. Then we can expand it to another class, say monitors, and so on, and add more attributes. And you can do it centrally. So in this case, if we add a new attribute somehow, it will encompass all the models. It helps to very flexibly and thoroughly configure complex connections between products. For example, when there is a specific type of products or a certain number of attributes, like there are sofas, there are textiles, sofas have got colors, but a certain sofa may only be made from a certain textile and of specific colors, in case it has to correspond to a concrete price category. There can be complex relationships between categories. In Akeneo, all these relations can look too flat, meaning that if you need a sofa with specific limitations, just enter the sofa with the needed attributes. But it does not work like this all the time. When there are complex connections between the products, you need to limit the operators lest they make a mistake. Limit the number of textiles they can choose. Although there can be thousands of possible textile options, for this sofa, the list has to be short, and the attributes will have to be the same. Or consider another example. A telco company has its tariff matrix. The tariff matrix has lots of nuances pertaining to the regions, depending on how they're set up, and so on and so forth. Because you may have different roaming options, here one, there another. All is very complicated. All right, let's move to the next part, APIs. In Akeneo, we have a simple API that helps you do just the same as your admin commands. Basically, manage the whole system via a ready-made interface, not the admin panel. In case with Pimcore, in case with Pimcore, here the APIs are fully customizable. Pimcore professes the following philosophy: connect everywhere. Meaning you can make any API you need, whereas in Akeneo's worldview, you get a fully set up customized API. Alright, next on, calculated fields. Talk to me about it. Calculated fields. They deserve a special mention, because Pimcore has calculated fields. Fields that can compute external systems inputs, for instance, via API and etc. Akeneo doesn't have these fields. Everything is pretty simple there. Yes, but in Akeneo Enterprise, there are attributes with attributes, meaning there is a field that also has fields. Pimcore has the same, but in Akeneo it's sold as a feature that is only available in the Enterprise solution. Meaning both systems have calculated fields? Yes, in Pimcore they're beefier, more flexible, and they're truly calculated ones, while in Akeneo they're reference attributes, and only available in an enterprise solution. Yes, one last thing to mention in this regard, the most complex of all, PXM. Because all clients are really confused. What's a PXM? Not quite clear. There are not so many sources out there who can explain what is a PXM. Alright, let's start from deciphering the abbreviation. PXM means Product Experience Manager. These systems are focused on a client and the data that client needs. We might have many descriptions for just one product that suit different customers. from different target segments. Yes, if the MDM paradigm suggests that there is a product that goes unchanged to different sources, well, unchanged is too strong a word. They might be added attributes, deleted attributes, etc. But I deviate. In a PXM system, we have a different principle. You have a product, and there are multiple representations of the product. And those representations all lead to the original entry. Okay, let's consider a specific example. A marker pen. A marker pen. We've got a marker pen. It has its own simple attributes. What can we tell about it? It's black. We then decide to upload the marker data to an Instagram account. Then we decide to do the same for a mom's website and for a website for business people. So, in an Instagram account, we will have one representation of the product, with video or something, a description, etc. Moms will read that it's a useful marker. They can apply it at home, its bio, echo, and whatever. You get the idea, right? For business people, you will have to state that the marker can go on for 60 kilometers, I don't know. You can hold it at any angle, it will still write. It erases easily, or it doesn't. Any properties. Meaning the same marker can be represented differently. It's an important function for a marketer, because they need to store such information about different representations of a product somewhere. Where to store it? There are no such systems. Basically, all modern PIM systems contain PXM, meaning Product Experience Managers. Alright, how are things with PXM capabilities in Pimcore? Well, Pimcore has Franklin. No. Akeneo has Franklin. Oh god, of course. Akeneo has Franklin and also Onboarder. Two functionalities. First one, Franklin, presents information of your data being enriched by other sources, when we know that the marker pen has to be enhanced with different data, and automatically fill it in. Onboarder allows your different vendors to input data about the marker. What does marketing have to do with this? Marketing has to do with PIM. All such information goes to PIM and is stored there. Akeneo PIM. After it, in the end of the day, you can integrate it so that different market channels can receive different information. Yes, let me explain. Franklin and Onboarder are included into Akeneo Enterprise features. But the community version has some presets for PXM. You can make the descriptions manually, avoiding Franklin and loading them without an Onboarder. But dividing the descriptions into channel, writing everything yourself is still possible. You can even make your own connectors. Yes. Let's also tell that both systems, Akeneo and Pimcore, are open source. You might think, why don't we then use Solsify or Russian-made Brandquad? Well, yes, you can, but there are cloud solutions. You will get the same functionalities that are available in the cloud. You will be hooked to a subscription model. And it will all be inside somebody else's information circuit. Not all the organizations can agree to this. Some organizations, though, make use of such solutions, even the bigger ones like Unilever. But Pimcore and Akeneo can be put inside your data circuit for data security. They're open-source systems. If you want to scale them up, no problem. But how are the things with PXM and Pimcore? Like everything else there, very flexibly. Because this little model that I drew is basic for Pimcore. We have a product representation, we can now redefine it and do other definitions. This functionality aligns very well with DAM, with information about the segments, because Pimcore has segments and user directories. PXM and Pimcore is a set of different classes enhanced with product data. All right, now let's conclude the results of an epic battle. A key property of Pimcore across all features is flexibility. On this side, however, we have simplicity. This is a key property. By the way, notwithstanding the fact that Pimcore is a much more flexible solution, even the interface is more customizable. You can adjust and trim it to your needs. Still, Akeneo is more loved. But look, one cannot go without the other. With more customizations come excessive difficulties. But without the difficulties, you can't have the customability. You will need lots of possibilities that do what you want. When the solution is simple, you don't get the flexibility because deviations from basic scenarios require additional programming. That's right. Here's the key difference. If you want something simple, take Akeneo. If you want something flexible with advanced workflow configs, and you have multiple IT systems, if you need to maintain not just the product data, take Pimcore. Okay, I think it wraps it up nicely. If you have any questions, state them in the comment section. We will gladly answer them. Thank you for the attention, and bye-bye.